你是不是有那个苹果的充电？
我也没有，
这里面
你没有。
桌上看到没？
可以了，可以了，可以了，可以。
开始。
都拿个手机哦。
对啊，好几台手机。
哇塞，好富有哦！好富有哦！
这点
资产，
这点屁钱，几部手机跟几套房子拿一遍。
又不要手机，不要收手机费，房子要收房产税。
没有收你的，好不好？这不是宗旨吗？
你那儿能看到吗？
看到。
不是杨律师。看你那能打开吗？哎，这上可不可以抽烟呢？应该也可以。它这里不限制，你说啥它都不限制。
少抽点吧。
嗯。
少抽点。
林律师 ，Come on. Okay, now let's begin our class. Last time we stopped here at Article 315 of China's Civil Code.
法官。法官。
能看得清楚吗？
清楚。法官。压低一点，屏幕压低。
这样。
可以。
现在可以啊。
太低了，高点。会拉远一点吧，拉远一点。
拉远一点啊，拉远一点，我看着费劲啊。现在能看清楚吗？
反光。
反光啊。
视野。直接看。
哦。
看不清。
看不清，那就是这个灯的问题。
关一下。我关了也是。
关一下试一试，把里边这个灯关了。啊，把这块这灯。啊，再关一个那个灯。
可以了。
我知道了，这个上边是里边。哎，好像你这不行。现在能看清楚了吗？
可以了。
是不是？Article 是不是能看全？你看这个。这样。
高点，拉下来。好。
It's okay now。都能看清楚吗？
可以了。
确定。
哎，又太上了。有时差的。好了。
It's okay now。Article 315. Where a relevant authority receives a lost thing and knows who is the right holder, it shall in a timely manner notify the same to collect the lost thing. Here in civil law, it gives a burden to the government agencies, to the authorities. Means they have an obligation, they have a duty. The government agency have a duty to receive lost thing and to distribute, to return the lost thing to the owner. Okay. Where the authority does not know who is the right holder, it shall issue a lost and found notice in a timely manner. The authority should issue a lost and found notice in a timely manner. Okay. And here, last time we reviewed all those 6 expressions like shall, should, must, obliged to, be obliged to, be required to, or be to do something. Okay? Be to do something is something planned, confirmed, and no excuse, no other options. Okay? Article, and let's go to the next article, Article 316. A finder shall well keep a lost thing before it is delivered to the relevant department, relevant government authorities. Okay, shall well keep a lost thing means when you find another person's lost thing. It is not a requirement of morality anymore. Now you have a liability. When you find something, you have a liability. You're required by law to submit or deliver it to the relevant department. In here, a relevant authority. Mr. Yang, you've got to have an observation on the screen. Okay, see whether it is okay or not. Okay, it's okay. Delivered to the relevant authority. The relevant authority means我在上课，好，大表弟，那有问题吗？
没问题啊，
没问题哈。And here，在这儿啊，我们这个政府现在要有设立一个部门了，有一个部门要有这个，你知道是哪一个部门吗？
有点太黑了。光才是。
你再看可以吗？
没问题啊，可以。
没问题是吧？那就是这上面那个灯，那个上面的灯的问题，是不是啊？
现在可以了。
And now, after the effectiveness upon this law, when this law takes effect, and there should be an authority, a government agency, government department, they should have the duty to collect lost thing from ordinary people. Okay? And do you know which one is the authority?
授权。
不，我说是哪一个这个 authority 是指那个国家机构了。是哪一个机关啊？你知道吗？知道吗？
relevant 啊，我没有说啊，就 relevant。
and 不，它这里面是说 the relevant， 看这个意思，they use the word the relevant department, and that means there is a department in the government who has this duty.
是那个公安局吗
？Do not know. I do not know.
上次讲过了，是在公安局保管。公安局有讲。
Authority shall well keep it before it is collected. Okay? And here, the finder has a liability to well keep the lost thing, right? Okay, he found, right? What if by ignorance he damages the thing, and then he should have the liability. He should bear the liability to compensate the owner. And so from now on, when we find something on the ground, if we do not collect it, and send it to the relevant authority in the government, okay, and then I will never have any trouble, right? But now I have a liability to well keep the lost thing, okay? And for the government, it's okay. For the government, it's okay. There is a requirement. There is a demand for the authorities, for the government to keep everything well, right? But for an individual, for a normal citizen, how can we just do something to get us involved for some liability? So this is a problem. I think this is a problem. You lost something in the street. I found it. And the law requires me to keep well keep the thing you lost. Suppose it is already damaged, and I do not have any proof to argue that I tried my best to well keep it. Okay? Because it is damaged. And should I be liable for the damage? It is dangerous for me, right? So when I go to the street, whatever is on the ground, whatever is lost by anybody, I will never care about it, because it may bring about liability to me. This is a problem. I do not think this is a progress.
You think it too serious. Article said just for 故意怎么说 intentionally.
A person who intentionally or by gross negligence.
Yes, not every situation.
Causes losing thing, the lost thing, under his custody, destructed, damaged, or lost, shall bear civil liability. Yes, I know that. Okay, and there is a strict restriction. This should be under his custody when it is in my possession. Okay, it is in my possession, and I will bear liability for this damage to the lost thing only by intentional act, or by gross negligence. 这是故意或者重大过失 intentionally or by gross negligence. 记录一下，故意和重大过失 gross negligence causes the lost thing under his custody destroyed, destructed, damaged, or lost shall bear civil liability. Yeah, you lost something in the street. I get it. I have the liability to take it to the authority, and I've got to prove that I well kept your lost thing. I will do it. I'll be very glad to do it, to find the thing for you and send it to the authority and return to you.
So you don't need to keep it. You just notify policeman.
No.
And you don't never.
I will do nothing. I don't think this is a good law here. I don't think this is good law. This law Suppose you lost something, I found it, and I will return to you, or I will take it to the government agencies. Okay, that is what? That is indicates my very good morality. Very good morality, 很好的道德. Okay, but this may bring about liability to me. Okay, I found your lost watch. Okay, 100,000 RMB. 100,000 RMB, a watch. I found it because you lost it in the ground, on the ground, in the street. I get it, and I sent it to the police or any other authority. Okay, and when you find it, yeah, the watch is broken. So it is broken. How can I prove that I well kept it? How can I? How can I? Because this watch was in my possession. Okay, I am the only person who is possible to take care of it, right? Okay, and so the law will require me to prove that I well kept the lost watch. Okay, so I took it to the authority, and another day you go to the court and sue me to say, Mr. Shao, please compensate for my damaged watch. It is 100,000 RMB. Okay, and then I did for what? For trouble. Okay, this is a trouble for me. So I don't think this is good law.
这无因管理也是有类似的规定的。无因管理，就这种就是有点像没有特殊原因就帮你保管。
And so, what is the benefit for such a good person? The law. Suppose, okay. Suppose the law says, within 30 days, within 6 months, if no one come and get the watch back, it will be yours. Okay, I will do it. Because I have some benefit in it, right? I have some benefit for it, right? Okay, suppose the law requires that the owner of the lost thing should pay 10% or 20% of the value of the lost thing. That will be okay, right? So I am very kind-hearted. Find a lost gold watch on the ground and take it to the police, and the police say, yeah, it is damaged, and he will make a recording about my submission of the watch. The other day, Miss Liu came and says my watch is damaged and it was in Mr. Shao's possession, and so Mr. Shao is liable to compensate for the damage to the watch. That will be something very troublesome for me. And I will never do anything like this. I will just try to ignore everything in the street.
你看317条啊
Okay.
给一些费用的，你领回来的时候，
Okay. Then we've got to go.
也是有点利益所属。
Okay.
可以赚点小钱还是可以。
Okay. And here we've got to know the intentional act. 故意的, intentional act. Oh, I'll write it here. Intentional act. Okay. Act of gross negligence. Okay. Intentional act or act of gross negligence. Gross negligence. And here, under his custody. Why he used custody? A person who causes lost thing intentionally or by negligence causes the lost thing under his custody destroyed, causes destructed, damaged, or lost. In one's custody, under somebody's custody, in someone's possession. 把那中文读一下，这句话的中文。
使得人在遗失物送交有关部门前，有关部门在遗失物被领取前，应当妥善保管遗失物。
不，第316条。
是316条。
因
故意或者重大过失致使遗失物毁损灭失的，应当承担民事责任。就是遗失物使得人在遗失物送交有关部门前，有关部门在遗失物被领取前，应当妥善保管遗失物。因故意或重大过失致使遗失物毁损灭失的，应当承担民事责任。就是第一，遗失物使得人在交给有关部门之前，或者有关部门在被遗失物领回前，有2个前。那么像遗失物和有关部门，
不是那个，把那中文给我。316条，使得人在遗失物送交有关部门前，有关部门在遗失物被领取前，因故意或者重大过失致使遗失物应当承担民事责任。那他这个翻译的有问题，发现了吗？使得人 the finder 在遗失物交有关部门前， A finder shall well keep a lost thing before it is delivered to relevant authority, and the relevant authority shall well keep it before it is collected. Collected before it is collected by the owner, right? A person who intentionally or by gross negligence causes lost thing因故意或者重大过失致使遗失物毁损灭失的，毁损灭失是 lost 吗？
灭失是 damage，
毁损是 damage， 灭失呢？它写的是 lost。Destruction 毁是 destruct，destroy 毁损灭是用灭失用 lost 吗？destructed destructed 是毁掉的 damaged 损的，或者是遗失，是不是？灭失不是遗失啊，灭失是什么意思？英文 It is not lost. Lost. A lost thing. Okay, 这个中文一翻译成英文就没办法了啊。Okay, lost thing or lost destruction, damage, so it doesn't matter. Okay. A person shall be liable for the damage destruction and loss of such a thing okay shall be liable for his or her intentional or intentional or no. Act or loss or act of gross negligence which causes this destruction and loss to such a thing. This will be much better. A person shall be liable for his or her intentional act or act of gross negligence which cause damage, destruction, and loss, or loss to such a thing. Okay, this one is much better because this is a civil law And so the liability should be civil liability. Is okay. We do not have to mention it. Okay. A person shall be liable for his or her intentional act or act of gross negligence which causes damage, destruction, or loss to such a thing. Okay, and this is much better. Okay. You'd better take down what I revised. Okay. In an intentional act of gross negligence. Okay. Will keep a lost thing before it is delivered to the relevant authority. This is something new. This is a new rule. Okay. When I find something in the street, the law requires me to submit or handle it to the authority, not to the owner directly. You understand that? A finder shall well keep a lost thing before it is delivered to the authority. Okay, that means when you find something in the street or on the ground, the law requires you to take it to the authority, to the government, not to the owner of the lost thing. This is something strange.
Because you can find a real owner. It's uneasy.
Okay, this is a new rule, but this is clever. I think so. I found something in the street, and Miss Liu came here and said, "That watch is mine. I lost it." Okay? Can I judge? No. No. Right? Okay. I'd better take it to the government, and she should go to the government to collect it. Right? The relevant authority shall well keep it before it is collected by the owner. The next one is the right holder of a lost thing shall, at the time of collecting it, pay to the finder or the relevant department the necessary expenses, such as the expenses for safekeeping the lost thing. Where a right holder has offered a reward for finding the lost thing, he shall, at the time of collecting the lost thing, perform his obligation as promised. Okay, the right holder. But here, the right holder is not necessarily the owner, right? Not necessarily the owner. I lend my car to Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang drives my car to Shenzhen and could not find my car. Okay. And Ms. Liu find the car. This is lost. It is impossible. The car stay in the street. You cannot judge. And then you take my car to the police. Okay. And of course, Mr. Yang has the right to claim for return of the car. Suppose it is a watch, that will be much better. Okay. The right holder of a lost thing shall, at the time of collecting it, pay to the finder or the relevant department. And here, the department, relevant authority, necessary expenses, such as expenses for safekeeping the lost thing. This is only expenses for safekeeping, no others. Okay, no others. No other payment, no other, you say, a kind of encouragement or anything. It is no. Only necessary expenses. I'm a lawyer. I find a watch in the street.
不能以这个职位来，它应该是一种合理的费用。
Expenses. But my work is not paid. Suppose I didn't spend any money on keeping the watch, so I'm not paid. But it is possible for me to get myself into trouble, right? Okay, get myself into trouble. You may sue me at the court to say, Mr. Shao, you damaged my watch. Okay, you damaged my watch, right? Okay. 你把我的表弄坏了，你得赔我。邵律师在街上捡一块表，刘律师的表，然后送到警察那儿去了，是不是啊？然后刘律师一拿，哎，我这表坏了，邵律师你没给我好好保管，你有义务好好保管啊，没有你给我搞坏了怎么办 ？Shall bear civil liabilities. Okay, the right holder of a lost thing shall, at the time of collecting it, pay to the finder or the relevant author the necessary expenses, such as expenses of so and so. This is nothing important in here. Where a right holder has offered a reward, 奖励 for finding the lost thing, he shall, at the time of collecting the lost thing,